Yo, what's up everybody? This is Junior Chicken here with my 12th PokeVlog. I've got 163 hours and 8 minutes into Pokemon Platinum, and I'm proud to say that I've captured all the legendaries that I can. And I've come to the conclusion that I hate roaming legendary Pokemon. But I'll explain that in a few minutes. One thing I forgot to mention in my last PokeVlog was that I caught a Camerupt on my way to Stark Mountain, and I named it Furnace. So right after capturing Heatran, I went straight for Giratina, because I knew it'd be a level 47. But this was not an easy feat. It was pretty scary navigating through Turnback Cave, even though I did use a lot of max repels to stop me from running into any wild Pokemon. But it was pretty scary. And eventually, after chucking 6 Dusk Balls, I was able to catch Giratina. I named it Satan. If you want to see me capture Giratina, I have the video in the description. I changed the intro because this was a pretty special event for me. After capturing the devil, I flew straight to Canalave City so that I could sail the Full Moon Island and get the Lunar Wing to cure Eldritch's son of the nightmares caused by Darkrai. Of course, I couldn't go to New Moon Island because I needed the member card, which is a mystery gift item, which unfortunately I don't have. But then I had to chase after Cresselia and capture it. This was a bit more difficult than chasing Mesprit. Actually no, it was a lot more difficult. Because it actually plays the regular wild Pokemon battle music whenever you run into Cresselia. So you wouldn't even know if you were battling Cresselia until she appeared on the screen. And I'm saying she because it's a female Pokemon. And she was just frustrating to go after because, yeah, pretty much the same problems as Mesprit, and it took me like 23 quick balls in order to catch it. But thankfully I did catch Cresselia and named it Fantasy because it cures nightmares. What's the opposite of a nightmare? Well, a fantasy. Then of course I met up with Professor Oak again after meeting him in the Pal Park to find the 3 legendary Kanto birds. Those being the classics Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. But I actually had to level up my Pokemon quite a bit more before going after them. I had Fiery Kong at level 62, and I had to get Getzlaf at level 69 just to outspeed Zapdos. Moltres was actually the easiest to catch, because I didn't even put to sleep, yet I was able to catch it with a Quick Ball when it had low HP. Articuno was the second hardest to catch because I was able to get it to sleep, but it took a lot of quick balls to catch. I actually almost killed off Articuno. I didn't even use False Swipe to get it to really low HP. And Zapdos, my favorite of the 3, was the hardest. Not only because it's the fastest, but because I had trouble putting it to sleep whenever I used Hypnosis with Rainer, because Rainer did have a Quick Claw, so that it could possibly go before it. Eventually though, I was able to catch Zapdos with less Quick Balls than I actually used with Articuno. You know, I was going to name each of them after the season they kind of represent, like I'd name Articuno Winters, Zapdos Summer, and Moltres would be named Spring. But I decided to change it up a little bit, so I named Articuno Solstice. I named Moltres Equinox, and I named Zapdos Calvin Rap. Here's how it goes. Summer, right now, is one of my favorite songs this year, and it's by Calvin Harris. So I decided to start with Calvin, but I decided to cut out the I and make it Calvin. And instead of using the last characters to use his last name Harris, I decided to refer to my friend Harris. And that video that we made, Project X, a video about computer crimes, you know what he always say?
And das rap.
Yeah, so I used rap as the last word in the name. Calv and rap. So that's the name of my Zapdos. From there on, I pretty much continued to train my Pokemon, basically Arman and Getzloff and the other fighting Pokemon that I have, as well as my HM slaves and Raynor. I trained Bucktooth and Alox to level 60. I actually got Bucktooth to level 61 actually. But I trained all my other Pokemon on my team to level 70. All the routes between the fight area, survival area, and resort area I was using a lot. Rebattling trainers with the Versus Seeker. And I even put Araman and Getzloff into the daycare to see how that would work out. Unfortunately, it took a lot longer since you need a lot more experience once you get to really high levels. So I just put them there for a little while. I was able to get them to gain a few levels, but not too much. I also battled the gym leaders once in a while too at that little cafe that's over in the survival area. And I even battled Matt B a few times and beat him. And I continued to teach my Pokemon new moves. I was able to teach Raynor Payback, and that would replace Feint Attack since it has more power and it takes advantage of its slow speed. And I was able to teach Fiery Calm, Blast, Burn. So it can take out pretty much any Pokemon that stands in its way. While Arman and Getzloff were in daycare, I did try out the Pokeradar a bit to see if I could find some shiny Pokemon, because I have not encountered a shiny yet, and I wonder what it would be like. So I heard like the Pokeradar can increase your chances the longer you make the chain. So got some pretty good chains with some rare Pokemon that I didn't have that I wanted to be shiny, because I was a bit picky when it was coming to shinies. I didn't want like a Pokemon that I already had or a Pokemon that was no good. I wanted like a unique Pokemon that could be shiny. I remember one chain, I had a chain of Bannettes. I kept running to about 4 Bannettes with the Pokeradar, but then the game said,
"Fuck you, here's a rat!"
And I got Eradicate instead, so. But my longest chain is, I believe I have it right here actually, 6 with a Cacturn. It's actually 5 with the Bayonet, but my longest chain is 6 Cacturns in a row with Pokeradar. I still have not found a shiny yet, but who knows. So after training my Pokemon, facing gym leaders and different trainers along routes and wild Pokemon and all that, eventually, after a long waiting, I was able to get my Pokemon to about level 70, and I got Araman and Getzloff to level 73 to prepare them to face Dialga and Palkia. So I went back to Spear Pillar and faced Dialga and Palkia, and I was able to catch both of them. I didn't even use a Dust Ball. Dialga was probably the easiest to catch. I just threw an Ultra Ball at it, and I caught it. I named it Clockwork. Because of its steel typing, you know, clocks are usually made out of steels and gears are made of metal and all that. So I felt Clockwork was a good name for Dialga. Palkia was a bit tougher though. Even though it was kind of easier to get it to lower HP, it was actually a bit of a struggle to put it to sleep. And even though I was using net balls, which gave me a better chance of catching it, it took about 3 before I actually did catch it. And once I did, I named Palkia 1000 liters. Since Palkia is the spatial Pokemon, and it's a water type, I felt that 1000 liters would be really good for it, since liters is a volume measurement and is usually used to measure things like water and liquids and all that. So right now, I'm at the Battle Frontier, more specifically the Battle Tower, and I've tried out a bit, had a bit of fun. I've won a round of single battles, I've won a round of double battles, and I've won a round of multi-battles with Buck. Buck's the guy that I was traveling through Stark Mountain with. He was pretty good. He was complementing my hyper offense with his hyper defenses, and it was a pretty good matchup for a team, I'd say. So right now, I'm not sure what else to do in the game. I might go to the Battle Frontier and do some more stuff there, like visit the Battle Hall or Battle Castle or wherever. Train some more Pokemon that I like even, and try and get them to good levels where I can face off with them in Battle Frontier, or train some of my Pokemon to level 100. So this probably isn't the last PokeVlog you'll see from me. I'll have some other PokeVlogs in the future that will concentrate on certain Pokemon or certain events, stuff like that. I'm also going to try and find some information on how I can cheat to get the Azure Flute in the game because I still got my Master Ball. I'm saving that for Arceus, the God Pokemon. So I'm going to try and research and find a way to cheat to get the Azure Flute so I can catch Arceus. Before I end this PokeVlog, I'd like to give my thoughts on the new news revealed for OmegaRuby and AlphaSapphire. The super secret bases look pretty cool, and the fact that you can create your own gyms is also getting me excited. I really like the connectivity they're putting in it too, how you can have your buddies be guests in your particular base and you can have them as people you can face in your gym and all that. I'm really interested in what the gym would be like. Do you get to pick what Pokemon that your buddies will have if they're kind of your minions in there, what Pokemon you're going to have if you're that gym leader, stuff like that. And of course, Mega Metagross. Yes, the Metagranite is real. Mega Metagross looks ridiculously awesome. I'm just a little disappointed I was off with the ability. He doesn't look like he's getting levitated. He's going to get tough claws instead, which is still pretty awesome. You do not want to get Meteor Mashed by this thing. The only question is Steven Stone going to have a Mega Metagross or Mega Charizard X? I'm thinking Mega Metagross. I think the Mega Charizard X was just to show that he was into Mega Evolutions. So that's it for today's PokeVlog. Stay tuned because I am planning to do a countdown of my favorite Pokemon attacks and possibly some favorite Pokemon lists in the future. So thanks for watching and I'll see you later.
Time to play some Iron Maiden.